Hey, what's up guys, my name is Stefan, and in this video I'll be producing a beat for Grammy Award winning artist H.E.R. or an R&B artist like H.E.R. You can find links to all of the instruments and sounds used in this video, as well as additional resources you may find useful, down in the description below. So I've started this beat with a pitched sine wave for that classic R&B sound and solid foundation. This sound is often used a bit more sparingly, but I've used it for the main chord progression. Great, let's break this chord progression down. Feel free to jump to the next section if you want to power through the rest of the production. I'm going to move to a piano sound so you can better hear the progression. Cool, so we're in the key of A and our first chord is an A major 7 sus2. We get the sus2 from these three notes here, A, B and E, and this is a standout part of the chord and sound. H.E.R.'s music is always deep and emotional. Suspended chords help us convey this emotion musically. Around our sus2 chord we have an A and an E in our left hand and a G sharp putting the 7 in our major 7. Next we play a G sharp dominant 7 flat 9, again making use of dissonance, placing notes adjacent to one another. Our songs are about grief and heartache. Having that tension in our music is key. So instead of playing the G sharp dominant 7 flat 9 in its root position, G sharp, C, D sharp, F sharp, A, I've moved the A down one octave so that it's next to the G sharp. This adds that tension. Next we play a C sharp minor 7. This is in the second inversion, with our perfect fifth G sharp first, then our minor 7 B, root C sharp and minor third E, all in our left hand in that order, and C sharp in the bass. Our next chord is a B minor 7, B, D, F sharp A, and we're playing this one in root position, but we're playing it in root position for a reason. Every voicing is a choice. Every voicing has an effect on the rest of the chord progression. This particular voicing sets us up nicely for the next chord, a B flat augmented 7, B flat, D, F sharp, G sharp, with a B flat in the bass. Notice how the two chords share those two middle notes, D and F sharp, with the first and last notes being one semitone lower. So that creates this nice little movement, this nice set of passing chords that lead us nicely back to our home chord or our root chord, A major. However, we're going to play an A major 9 here, so still our root chord, however we've just extended it. It's pretty much the same as our first chord, but this time we're not going to omit the major third. We're going to play an A and an E in our left hand, and a B, C sharp, E and G sharp in our right hand, A major 9, and that's C sharp being the minor third. If you're learning new chords today, be sure to check out my chord pack with MIDI and PDF chord charts showing you a load of new chords and chord progressions like this and how to voice them in context of one another. It's how you voice them that makes all the difference. You could have hundreds of chords, but if they're not voiced in context with one another, you're not going to make coherent and nice sounding chord progressions, especially in R&B. Anyways, we have 3 more chords to finish this chord progression. The first of those 3, I'm going to call an A minor 6 over C, A minor 6 in our right hand, A, C, E, with an F sharp on top, with a C in our left. Then we have an E major 9, again inverted so the chords, is top heavy. We have our perfect fifth B, major 7, D sharp, 9th, F sharp, and major 3rd, G sharp, pulled together at the top in our left hand, and the root E in our right hand. Then finally we have an F diminished 7, F in the bass, with a B, D, F and G sharp in our right, and that is the chord progression. Cool, so I'm going to keep it moving. If you want to hear the progression on its own from the top, feel free to circle back to the beginning of the chapter. Moving on, I'm going to layer this chord progression with a piano, an instrument H.E.R. uses a lot, especially in her earlier works. Alright, fantastic. Notice how freeform I was with the piano, playing across multiple octaves, playing full chords, broken chords, and at times just melodies or this little motif that I have. I was able to play in this manner and still achieve some form of coherence and cohesion thanks to the solid foundation I laid with the pads. The pads are what carries the harmony in this scenario. For me, this is the most enjoyable part of music production. Playing in the parts. It's a direct expression of me and how I'm feeling and the feelings that I want to convey. On the keyboard I can fully express myself in the way that I play each chord, how hard or how soft I play each note, and even through my mistakes. I make plenty of mistakes when I'm playing and often end up leaving things in because it sounded good. And I don't get that same feeling if I'm sitting down drawing notes. For me, there's a disconnect here. I find it uninspiring, and it's one of the reasons I always encourage music producers to learn how to play. I began by learning songs, and it's the same methodology used by today's sponsor, Melodics. Melodics is an app that teaches you the keyboard through the same way I learned, through songs. It will teach you the basics from scales to chords to correct fingering, giving you the tools you need to play chord progressions and melodies whilst developing your dexterity and building your confidence in playing full chord progressions and melodies live. All of the skills I've used in making this beat so far. You can actually download Melodics for free via the link down in the description below, but you'll also find a 20% discount code off of monthly and annual subscriptions should you want to commit to improving your production. So we have our chords. Let's move on to our drums. For the drums, I've turned to the source itself. I found a small section of drums in a track off of H.E.R.'s latest album, which I've now sampled. I used Isotope to remove the vocals and other instruments from the loop, utilising the Music Rebalance tool. I only wanted the hi-hat and snare from said drum sample, so I've applied a high-pass filter. I couldn't quite fully remove the kick drum, but it has a nice bounce to it, so let's keep it in and add some bass back into the sample by layering a kick and snare of our very own on top. Okay, so the beat has that swagger H.E.R. possesses and is prevalent in all of her music. A large part of that comes from the actual sample, not me, but that's why I sampled it. I also like this sample because we couldn't quite get rid of all of the sounds, but it leaves these weird kind of artifacts, not really artifacts, it leaves these weird kind of just little sounds in the background of the track that just sound interesting. It adds interest and intrigue to the track. Great, so the last foundational element this track is missing is bass. So let's grab ourselves a nice round analog bass to complement the sounds already used. As a reminder, links to all of the sounds used can be found down in the description below. For the bass line, I'm going to keep it super simple, just following the notes of the chords, nothing more, nothing less. Same timing and everything. However, let's make a point to lock into the strong rhythm already established, and by that I mean the piano has this strong motif or phrase played in its bass notes, and the kick drum is already following it. So I feel that the bass mustn't resist this. I think the bass should follow suit in order to solidify the groove. Okay, so we have something solid here, but before we finish up, I've had this melody in my head since layering the drums, and I need to get it out. So I've pulled up a soft square lead, and this is how it goes. Fantastic. Who should I produce for next? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And why not share it with one of your friends that makes music too? Cool. I've been Stefan, and as always, happy beat making.